Welcome to Talking with Soup. My name is Dan Campbell. I have with me today Jack from All Time Low. How are you?
Good, how you doing, man?
Good. A fine start. I was just telling Jack that we have some hard-hitting, journalistic, Anderson Cooper-style questions, and he was telling me that he wishes he wasn't so drunk.
I know.
So to get right into it, to get real serious right away, you and I, this tour, have had some battles on the gridiron.
Yes.
Just going at it.
Yeah.
You take touch football very seriously.
It's fun, man.
You have the Calvin Johnson Signature Series cleats.
Make him run faster.
You have the Under Armour compression shirt.
Oh, yeah.
The gloves, cones, all of it. So, and you play at home also.
Yes.
So what is your touch football hero moment? What's the one moment in any touch football game where you had that everything stops, all eyes are on Jack, you came through, childhood dream moment?
We were on tour in Europe. It was our first time playing football, like, for serious on tour, kind of like how we had been.
Yeah.
It was the first time, and we were in a field, and the first play of the game, we weren't used to playing like football. Like, you know, if you play, like, we've played a couple times in this tour, you get kind of in a what's the word I'm looking for?
Rhythm?
You get a rhythm, yeah, you get a rhythm, and, like, you know what you're doing. This was the first time we played on tour. I had just got, like, football gloves. I was, like, getting super into it. First play of the game, Ryan throws the ball, like, 30 yards out. It's like I do, like, a one-handed grab and, like, do it into a barrel roll, like, into the ground.
Perfect. Perfect.
And that's just the Ray Rice, like, no celebration, just, like, walked over, gave Ryan the ball. I was like, all right, let's go.
Hell yes. You were telling me earlier on this tour, a dream of yours is to ask your buddy Justin Tucker from the Ravens to play touch football with you.
Yeah.
My question is more, how did you convince Tucker to become friends with you? Because he's a Super Bowl winning professional football player, and you make dick jokes for a living. So
I was actually worried that would kind of turn him off at first, like, being friends, like, who's this loser? But so I started tweeting him because I used to go to a bunch of Orioles games, you know, during the season. And he tweeted once, he's like, hey, I'm at the Orioles game. And I was like, oh, well, I might as well tweet him and see what happens. So I hit him up, and I was like, hey, man, look for me. I'm the dude wearing an Orioles shirt. And he responded and was like, hey, man, I'm the dude wearing an Orioles hat. And I was like, oh, word. Like, all right, that's kind of cool, he responded. And then later that night, I got home from the game, and he had direct messaged me on Twitter. And he was like, hey, man, we should grab some beer sometime if you're in town. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, that'd be great. I'm a huge NFL fan and Ravens fan. And we met up, got drinks downtown. We talked music for a while. He's I think the reason why we hit it off and became good friends is because he's a big musician. Like, he went to school for recording. That's what he majored in when he went to University of Texas, I believe. Mm-hmm. Texas University. He was a long one. Yeah. He was a long one. Hogan. And so he majored in recording arts, and he can sing opera in like 6 or 7 different languages.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I think
you don't know about Justin Tucker.
Yeah, so we just hit it off, like, from a musician standpoint, and I obviously was just fanning out the whole time about football. So
yeah. I was determined to do the same thing with Matt Barkley.
Yeah.
I figure he gets drafted to the Eagles, right? He comes to Philly. He probably doesn't have any friends here yet, you know. And we opened that pop-up shop. Yeah. So I tweeted at him and said, "Why don't you come to our pop-up shop?" And he tweeted back at me, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be friends with Matt Barkley. This is gonna happen." It turns out he was just tweeting back at people. I looked further into his life in like a totally creepy way. It turns out he like pretty much only listens to like EDM and like I think praise.
Oh.
So he probably does not like the Wonder Years in any way.
Well, you know what? It's funny because like fans like look like our fans and your fans and these days kind of like look for bands to like tweet them back and retweet them, and I feel like me and you and a bunch of other bands look up to like NFL players.
Oh yeah, we're
or,
trying
like,
to do
basketball
the same
players. Same thing with like, you know what I mean? I get like giddy if like Ray Rice like tweets back, I'm getting giddy.
Oh yeah,
I mean?
And even sometimes with musicians, John from the Mountain Goats tweeted at me once. And I was like, "You're the Mountain Goats. That's insane."
I don't know what that is.
You listen to the Mountain Goats?
Okay,
we need to talk about it later.
I'm gonna get a beating, a stupid beating. Later.
No. I think you'll like it though.
Right.
I think you'll like it. So you moved to America.
Yeah.
From Lebanon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At what age?
Early, I think like 1.
Okay.
My mom escaped the war with my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So if you were 1, you were born in what, 88? So in '89, the war ended in '90, the Civil War in Lebanon.
Yeah. So she literally was like, dude, like out of a movie.
Yeah.
Like picked up my brother and sister who are 10 years older than me. Picked us up. Went to hovercraft actually, because that's what they were using back then to get people to Cyprus.
Yeah.
So got in the Mediterranean, got in the hovercraft, like mid bombings. Picked us up. My dad was in the U.S. practicing medicine. He's a doctor in the U.S. Because it's easier to practice in the U.S. And so got us on a hovercraft, escaped to Cyprus, like somehow got to Canada and the U.S. and fled, man. It's crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So were they involved at all in the Civil War?
No, I mean they're just like citizens, and like just happened our town happened to be being bombed at the time, and so we barely made it out, but we did. Pretty cool.
So I was going to ask you about the hardest part of the transition, but you probably don't remember much of Lebanon at all.
No, I was raised in the U.S.
Do you have family there?
Yeah, I go once a year. My parents live there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they retired, they just moved back, and once we were like kind of all their kids were established, they just moved back.
Now, is there any civil unrest there now?
There is, but like it's all
right on the border,
it's like
Syria.
borders and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like a civil war where there's like bombings downtown and like shooting and stuff. They're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On a lighter note,
yeah,
you have Adventure Time sheets.
Yeah,
That's
a recent question, man. You must.
Well, we were talking yesterday. You showed.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. I watched 3 episodes of Adventure Time.
Yeah.
And I have understood none of it.
Yeah.
So hit me.
Dude, I swear it's a show that is just the jokes. Like a kid will like it because it's visually stimulating and it's very colorful, and the characters make funny noises. They have funny voices. Voices, but the jokes and like the references are complete adult humor, almost like a more tame version of Ren and Stimpy over this time.
Yeah,
where it's kind of like it's geared for kids, but it's made for adults, but it's a kid show.
It's post-apocalyptic, correct?
I think the plot. I haven't seen every episode. But I think the plot is it's post-apocalyptic because of like nuclear waste or something. There's like everyone's like deformed and like has weird powers, and it's amazing. It's really incredible.
And it's just Jake and Finn.
Jake and Finn, and Finn the human, Jake the dog, and their crazy adventures, and so many famous comedians do voices like all over the show. It's really good.
That's cool.
And you wouldn't even know that like the people doing it.
And you're a lighthearted guy.
Yeah.
And on stage, your whole stage show, it's a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
A lot of dick jokes, a lot of fart jokes.
Yeah.
Is there anything you've said on stage that you really are like, I wish I had that one back? Because it's all off the cuff, right? None of that's planned.
It's all just kind of improvised and
just riffing.
And some nights it goes pretty well.
Yeah.
We're hilarious and people have a good time. And other nights, like, we just say a bunch of stuff and it's just crickets, man. It's so awkward. It's crickets. But I think it makes it more fun because every night's a different experience. If kids are coming to like more than one show, like it's definitely gonna be a different show every night. But we definitely say some things where I'm like, man, wish I didn't say that.
Recently, we were in Maryland, and everyone's parents were there. Same jokes. The show changed 0%. It's not the same jokes and the same exact jokes, but the same style.
Yeah.
It wasn't
we don't hold anything back.
It wasn't like, oh man, Ryan's mom's here. I better not say anything about her boobs. You guys were just like, fuck it.
Yeah, man, and it's funny because at first that sucked. When we were kids growing up playing church shows, we weren't like that on stage. We didn't have the confidence. We didn't have we weren't as witty. We weren't as quick. So it was not good. It wasn't like that. But it got awkward at first, and eventually, you just kind of zone out your parents. Forget they're there. Forget it's a hometown show, and just do it. Because if you think about your parents all the time, it's gonna ruin the show.
They were loving it.
They were loving it.
They were having a great time.
Yeah.
So I always like to end these on a negative note.
Yeah.
Someone out there wants to be you.
Yeah.
Give them a cautionary tale. Tell them the biggest mistake you've made in your career.
Ooh.
Make sure they don't fall into the same pitfalls you have.
One of my biggest mistakes was not taking guitar more seriously when I was a kid.
Okay.
Was when we first started being a band, and I used to take lessons. I used to just ask the teacher to teach me songs, Blink songs and Green Day and whatever it was back then. And I kind of wish I was like doing scales, learning actually like music theory, and because now I feel like that would make me a better guitar player today.
Yeah.
And I can handle our songs, but I'm not the kind of dude that can just go up there and shred.
Yeah.
And I wish I could.
You
And if I put
the fundamentals.
And if I put my mind to it right now, I could probably, if I literally sat in a bus all day and played guitar all day, but you lose the motivation after a certain time.
You know what I like the idea of now? Is you go into like a guitar center and be like, can I please take lessons? I have a gold single, but if you could teach me how to play a minor scale, that would be great.
Yeah, dude. I started taking lessons from our friend Dan Book out west in LA. He's from Baltimore, and he taught me a lot.
Yeah.
This was about 2 or 3 years ago, and it needed to happen because it was at a point in our career where we were signed, we were starting to tour a lot, and my guitar work wasn't really up to par with the rest of the band's performance. So I took lessons, and I got a lot better. It helped a lot. But still, if I would have been doing that since I was a kid, I'd be Tony from Pierceville, shredding up there.
Shredding. Pure shred.
Yeah.
All right, well, awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, too.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.